weather is presented by Fox Business Systems. How much does downtime cost you and your business? Don't let another second go by. Call Fox Business Systems at 776-1452.
Your News Radio KMAN Manhattan area forecast this afternoon. Snow should be dying down. Mostly cloudy skies with a high near 19. Wind gusts as high as 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy, then gradually becoming clear with a low around -2. Wind chill values between -4 and -9. Tomorrow, sunny skies with a high near 25. Thursday night, some cloudy skies with a low around 12. Friday, mostly cloudy and a high near 43. Getting set for the game here on News Radio KMAN.
The following is an exclusive presentation of News Radio KMAN, your home for K-State athletics. It's game time. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Look, we're only with you for an hour today, so let's get right to it. Is Jerome Tang Jesus Christ? Like literally. Because the man is working a miracle, folks. A complete turnaround. The greatest mid-season turnaround in college basketball history. It has the opportunity, and it's not one to be taken lightly. What a win last night. And a bizarre one, really. We'll break it down for you. Welcome to the game. Mitch Fortner and Cole Deutschendorf with you in studio. We're live on YouTube. Go to YouTube and search for News Radio KMAN. Search for the game on KMAN. You can watch us live. You can leave us a comment. Questions or comments can be put there. And also on our text line, 785-537-1350. Feel free to text us. Feel free to call us. Man, how are you feeling about the Cats right now? They have won 6 in a row. 4 of those wins over ranked opponents, and last night a win over number 13 Arizona. In my opinion right now, that's the best team that K-State played during this 6-game stretch, and they win by 3 points. Unbelievable run this team is on, and we got just 1 hour to kind of break it down for you. At the end of the hour, the end of the show, we're going to have the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, on for the final time this football season. Football, of course, ending on Sunday with Super Bowl 59. Drew Galloway from K-State Online will be joining us in our next segment. Just one segment today with KSO. It's going to be Cole and I for the first segment. Well, discussing K-State. For the K-State women, that's why we're out at 5 o'clock. They're at Cincinnati tonight. Pre-game coverage is at 5. They will tip off at 5:30. It is a must-win for the K-State women tonight. It was TCU and Baylor, who K-State is tied with at the top of the Big 12 standings. They both won their midweek games last night. K-State needs a win tonight to keep pace with the other two teams tied for first place. I think I could give you a series of stats from last night's game, Cole, because I know you're doing Manhattan High basketball online only. Unfortunately, a pair of losses for the Tribe, and Maddie Vickery for Washburn Rule, who's a commitment to K-State in a couple of years, just went off in that first half. She had over 20 points in that first half. But inside of Bramlage Coliseum, a little bit of a lighter crowd than I was expecting, especially for the student section, but did kind of worry about that because of the pending weather, which luckily we did not get as much snow as we predicted, or at least the possibility was 6 to 10 inches, and I'm pretty sure we did not reach the 6 inches, got more like 3. That's what she said. But let's start with kind of some of the odd numbers about last night's win. First of all, the three-point shooting was absolutely atrocious. Getting open looks, nobody could hit a shot last night. I mean, these two teams were a combined 3 of 41. Arizona's not necessarily a great three-point shooting team, but it's actually kind of a trend when they were losing games, like they would make no more than 5. And guys, remember, they hadn't lost a game just one time since December. But K-State was 1 of 19, and how about this? I mean, how do you beat the 13th ranked team in the nation, who next to you is one of the hottest teams in America, and you shoot 1 of 19 for 5.3%, and you set a new program record for worst three-point percentage in a game while making at least 1 3. How does that happen? That's just another piece to this Jerome Tang Bible that has led to a midseason turnaround and showing up on Joe Lunardi's bracketology. They're just finding ways to win. The inside game was super crucial, of course. K-State got to the free throw line 26 times. They missed 10. Arizona was a lot more efficient at the free throw line. Well, let me put it to you this way, and Coach Tang mentioned this after the game, and it was a couple of things here because K-State was also dominated on the boards. But they did hold Arizona to 37.5%. K-State points off turnover was 23-10. K-State won that by 13. That's monster. Points in the paint. Arizona was one of the best teams heading into last night, and they still are because their average is going up. One of the best teams in the nation at scoring in the paint, and K-State got them by 2 points. Got them. That was not in the script. And I want to revisit the keys that were in Mitch Palm yesterday's show. I thought Mitch Palm was its most accurate yesterday after I crunched the numbers and let the thing do its thing. And what it pumped out for us was a number of keys. First of all, key number 1, Caleb Love. Big 12 Player of the Year candidate, All-American candidate, second year with Arizona. Over the last, 3-4 games, Caleb Love had been playing so extremely well. Averaging 21 points per game over the last 4. Last night, Caleb Love had 6. He was 0 of 7 from three-point range. You can argue that was his worst game of the season last night. That was pretty major. 3 of 15 from the floor. I think it would have been by far his worst game of the season if he didn't grab 7 rebounds and have 3 assists. He had a couple of really nice assists in the second half. The second key was the big run because Arizona was not giving up double-digit runs this year. Every game they were going on a double-digit run. For the first time this season, Arizona did not go on at least a 10-0 run, and they gave up at least a 10-0 run. That did not happen yet this year. K-State did that. K-State went on a 13-0 run to end the first half, and the longest run, the biggest run for Arizona last night was 8-0 to build their largest lead in the middle of the first half. K-State responded with a 13-0 run. Mitch Palm's next key was defense without fouling. I wanted to see something in the middle of what we've seen K-State do to step up their game. Much more active, staying in front of the ball handler, ball pressure, getting after the basketball. And we also seen like K-State also in this stretch maybe not be as heavy with the attack on defense and still play well, but I wanted something in the middle. I think that's what K-State gave you exactly last night. And Arizona being held to 37.5% from the field and not shoot the ball well at all either from 3-point line. So I think K-State maybe got a little bit lucky there, but Arizona at the same end got lucky with K-State not hitting shots because K-State went 4 games in a row of hitting double-digit threes. I mean, looking at the last handful of games, the worst Arizona had been in the last, honestly, as I look back at the numbers and I just realized this, last night was their worst shooting night of the season. Arizona's. And that is one of the more elite offenses in the entire country. For me, it was really 2 things. On defense, just team defense. Moby was incredible. He's a hell of a defender. The guy is a human pogo stick going after rebounds. But team defense is just way more disciplined. And I thought for the most part did a great job last night of fouling or defending without fouling. Offensively, Doug McDaniel has turned into an incredible point guard. And who wasn't worried at the end of non-conference play about Doug McDaniel? Was barely starting. He finally got thrown into the starting lineup at some point. Too many turnovers. Wasn't hitting shots. His percentage, he couldn't hit a 3. Percentage was terrible. Well, he hit K-State's only 3 last night. He was 1 of 4, but finished with a K-State high 24 points. He had 5 steals in the game, and he was a magician with the basketball, especially down the stretch, because Coleman Hawkins didn't really have a great game. Max Jones was kind of held in check a little bit, just wasn't getting many shots off. I thought Arizona did a good job of kind of limiting playmakers for K-State. You didn't see that scoring balance. But Doug goes off. David Gasson is an absolute baller this season. That continued last night. And he's averaging, 21 points, 20 points a game right now in the last 3. And then, C.J. Jones coming off the bench, and he had an incredible first half. Cole, I know you got to watch some of the game back today, and we're going to get to some clips a little bit later on. But when you're watching that game back, since you didn't get to watch it live, what stood out to you about K-State's win against Arizona?
Well, one thing that I've been kind of developing in my head over the last couple of days, and especially now with this win over Arizona, is this team needs to stop being referred to as once that game, the West Virginia game. I think there should be there's 2 phases of this team. It's before West Virginia and after West Virginia, AW and BW, whatever.
Okay.
Because I've been doing this as much as anyone the last couple of games, comparing how they've played in their last few games compared to earlier season, and it's night and day. It's completely different, and it's continuing to be a ton of fun to see the evolution of this team and how they went from a really bad team to all of a sudden one of the best teams in the country. And last night, you mentioned some of the things that stuck out to me. Moby, man, I love watching Moby get after it. Defensively, offensively, whatever it is. He doesn't do a ton on offense. He's gotten a couple of opportunities the last couple of games, obviously with the exclamation point being that dunk plus the foul at the very end of the game that helped them open that 6-point lead with a minute and a half or however much time was left. But he always brings so much energy on the defensive end. He's exactly what K-State needs. You have players that bring the defensive energy. I mean, you look at a guy like Max Jones, who's always going to be running around with his hair on fire on defense. David Gasson, obviously, is always going to be a great defender, but Moby just brings more energy than I see out of anyone else, and it's not like anyone else has bad energy, but he just makes up for maybe some of the lacking of energy that there can be in a given game, in a given sequence. There was the one sequence where on defense where he was running all around the court, stopped a couple of Wildcats of the Arizona kind, and put up a great contest and pulled down the rebound. He also had, I think, 3 steals. So he was just all over the place, and he's starting to become one of my favorite Wildcats to root for, just because he's so energetic and bring that energy. It just spreads for everyone, and I think he's been a spark plug for this team down the stretch. Doug played a heck of a game, and you could talk about him for 20 minutes and the progress he's made. I think he's also become a true leader on this team, which is what they needed from the get-go. And now, at one point, if you were mentioning him in the same sentence as Tyler Perry and Marquise Noel, you would have gotten some looks, and you would have correctly gotten some not great looks, because I mean, what are you doing comparing him to the last 2 point guards? And now, the way he's played these last 6 games, it's been, I don't know if you'd say it's Marquise Noel-esque, but it's been to that level where you can count on him for 14 to 18 points. He's going to be active in the passing lanes. He's going to be grabbing down some boards. He's going to have great vision, and you can expect that now from him night in, night out. And I think what he's grown in the most is, because he's always had this talent, this is the kind of player he was at Michigan, where he's grown in, I think, is the leadership that he's brought, both vocally and also just through his play on the court as a court general. I mean, he has total control of the game, and that's what you feel right now. Anytime that he's in, you just feel that the game is in control for K-State on the offensive end. Sure, there's going to be some times where there's some lackadaisical turnovers or what have you, but ultimately, he's going to have the game. He's going to play the game the way he wants to. He's going to get to his spots. He's going to get his teammates in positions where he knows that they can succeed. That's what I've been seeing the last couple of games, and especially last night. Those were 2 of my main takeaways from that game.
So going back to Moby, here is Wyatt's call of the play of the night with just barely less than 2 minutes to go. Moby with the steal and then dunk at the other end. Here's Wyatt's call.
Bradley works to the left side, knocked away by Moby. Here comes E.K. Garuka to the lane, step, and an and one. Moby E.K. Garuka. Oh my goodness, what a play! His first bucket of the night.
The place went nuts, and because of that play, that was an amazing play. I go back also to the end of the first half. I thought Moby had the best individual defensive possession of the season so far, where it's right there at the end, and he's kind of guarding Arizona by himself. He was moving so well across the floor from one end to the other, like one from sideline to the other, without turning his hips. He just kind of scooted side to side. It stayed in front of everybody and then grabbed the rebound. But going back to that dunk, that steal and dunk for Moby, he had his first press conference as a Cat post-game last night. He gave a few words on that play.
I kind of knew he was going to pass the ball, you know what I mean? Because they were very calm, so I knew, okay, if I reach on this ball, I'm probably going to get it. So got the ball, went down, slowed down a little bit to kind of get him behind my back, just jumped up. Just dunked it, yeah.
And by the way, it's not Moby E.K. Garuk K. It's not K at the end. It's K. I asked him. It's Moby E.K. Garuk K. I asked him in pregame last night just to double check, and it's Moby E.K. Garuk K. So the TV guys, they had it wrong yesterday. Moby is really blossoming, but he's still at times a newborn colt on ice, I like to say, and he's still super raw, but he's getting it. I'm seeing more growth out of him than anybody, at least when it comes to overall execution. When it comes off the bench, I don't think anybody has grown more off the bench than Moby E.K. Garuka.
I think earlier in the season when he wasn't getting a ton of minutes and it was to the point where we were already looking forward to next season and how you can use this roster to build for the future. And when he was one of the main guys that's going to be back next season, I was like, well, I mean, that's good, I guess, to kind of build that platform, but it's like I haven't really seen much. And now, as you said, he's been amazing to watch these last several games, and I'm really excited to see how he continues to grow, because it's literally, you can see him growing between each and every game. Like, it's that evident of his play on court.
Let's go to one more clip after the game. Doug McDaniel about stepping up for his team last night.
Down the stretch, when we need something to go, the guys look for me to make those plays. I take pride in moments like that, because, my mindset is I never want to let them down. So whatever I can do to help us, get that edge and win it, I'm going to do it. And the fact that they looking at me to make those big plays makes it even more, meaningful, because, they count on me and I'm counting on them too. And, I showed up tonight and, I just love seeing them smile on their face.
K-State improves its record to 13-11 overall, now 7-6 in Big 12 play. 6 wins in a row. It's not the longest winning streak in America, but 4 of those 6 wins are over top 25 teams. I think it is fair to say they are the hottest team in America right now. With that, let's take a timeout. We are scheduled to be joined by Drew Galloway from K-State Online after the timeout on The Game.
Tweet The Game, KMAN, or call 537-1350 and get in touch with the show. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
I never dreamed I'd reach age 100. I really didn't.
C. Clyde Jones is a legend around Manhattan. The first dean of K-State's College of Business is now 101 years old. Clyde's recipe for longevity includes his customized daily home care provided by passionate, trained professionals from Interim Healthcare.
What I treasure the most at Interim is the personal relationships I've developed with the personnel who come to take care of me. Just a wonderful group of people.
At Interim Healthcare, our mission is to improve people's lives.
Well, in my case, I call it help me sustain the quality of life, because I've led a good life. No room for improvement, but the quality of Interim's help is just so good. Home health, and it's worth every penny. I just love the women who come.
We care, we're there. Interim Healthcare.
Topeka, Manhattan, Lawrence.
Come on home to West Loop and Manhattan's West Side.
Burnett Automotive. All tires, all brands, all services.
Brothers Coffee Company. Community, conversation, connection, coffee.
Partner with Kansas Commercial Real Estate Services for an expert approach to commercial real estate.
Visit some old friends, discover some new. Come home to West Loop and Manhattan's West Side.
This Valentine's Day, treat your sweetheart to an unforgettable evening at the Friendship House in Wamego. On February 14th and 15th, indulge in our exquisite 5-course tasting menu, crafted with care for this special occasion. But don't wait, this exclusive dining experience is by reservation only. Reserve your spot and make this Valentine's Day truly memorable. The Friendship House in Wamego, where love is always on the menu. Call 785-456-9616. Friendship House, just off the Yellow Brick Road by City Park in downtown Wamego.
The Ramsey Show.
So I am 20 years old, straight out of high school. I moved to Phoenix, Arizona to start my own business selling furniture.
What does selling furniture look like?
So I go around picking it up, clean it up, take really good pictures and sell it. I'll probably do about 100 grand this year net.
Wow. Some of you are standing around with your finger in your ear. And then you got a 20-year-old with a high school education that's making 100 grand flipping used furniture.
He's laughing all the way to the bank.
Financial advice for everyone. The Ramsey Show. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on News Radio KMAN.
I'm Cole Deutschendorf with a game sports update. In a battle between two of the nation's hottest teams, K-State was able to pull away and hang on late in a back-and-forth game last night, upsetting number 13 Arizona in Bramblage 73-70 and extending its winning streak to 6. Point guard Doug McDaniel was a game-changer last night, scoring a game-high 24 points along with 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and a career-tying 5 steals in 37 minutes.
The way they were guarding us, we needed him to be aggressive. We needed him to be assertive and go get it. And I was thankful that, he embraced it.
It was McDaniel's 9th career 20-point game. McDaniel was joined in double figures by Gasson, who finished with 16 points and 7 rebounds. C.J. Jones also added 10 off the bench. Moby Ike Garuka had a major steal and dunk that sent Bramblage Coliseum crowd into a frenzy with 1:39 remaining. Both teams were terrible from 3, combining for 3 of 41 from beyond the arc. K-State went 1 of 19 from three-point range, which was the worst percentage in school history with at least 1 make. The 6-game winning streak is the second longest of head coach Jerome Tang's tenure, and is also K-State's longest streak in Big 12 play since a 6-game winning streak in 2013. K-State hits the road to face BYU on Saturday at 7. The number 14th ranked K-State women's basketball heads to Cincinnati to take on the Bearcats tonight with pregame at 5 and tip on 5:30 following the game on News Radio KMAN.
All right, we're back on the game. Mitch Fortner and Cole Deutschendorf. Guys, it's Wednesday, and you know what that means. AEW Dynamite tonight from the HEB Center in Austin, Texas, the home of the Texas Longhorns. Tonight, it's home of All Elite Wrestling at 7 o'clock on TBS. I'm going to watch the K-State women play first and beat Cincinnati. They tip off at 5:30. Then I'm going to flip over and catch some AEW Dynamite. But before we get to all of that, let's bring our special guest in from K-State Online. He is Drew Galloway. Drew, we've now heard Sandstorm the last 2 games. K-State's defeated the last 4 top 25 teams they have faced. 6 games in a row they have won. How are they turning this season around?
Yeah, I think that a lot of it has to do with just it does take some time, as much as we all hate to kind of admit it. And I was one that kind of shrugged that off as something during November and December during the losing streak of, it takes time, but you still got to produce. Whatever that they have done to relay how they want to play and how the players have responded and kind of told Jerome Tang and his staff how they want to play, whatever they're doing is working. And I think that you're really seeing it from everybody that's out on the floor, that they are playing probably about 2, maybe even 3 times harder than we saw during the losing stretch of the 9 out of 10 games. And I think that it's really fun to see. And I know that a lot of the talk has been about the winning streak, but I think the game that really kind of flipped the season around was when K-State went to Allen Fieldhouse and lost by 10, and it was a 4-point game with 4 minutes to go. I think that that's really when they were kind of back and playing how I think that we all kind of expected to. And then from there, yes, they lost the next game out, but they were up 11 on Baylor in Waco in the second half and ended up losing. So I think that we've seen just exponential growth over the last month, and it's been really fun to watch.
Are you going to go with Doug McDaniel as the player that, if you want to talk about the player that has shown the most difference in care, in effort, in growth, and execution, is he the one at the top of your list?
Oh, yeah, and I think that that's something that when they were in that losing stretch, a lot of it had to do with that they weren't getting the Doug McDaniel that we kind of all expected and anticipated. I think the one that they anticipated and expected, because he was their first target out of the transfer portal. K-State got him before the Final Four even took place. So that's a guy that you knew that you needed to hit on and hit on well, because there aren't a lot of other lead point guards on this roster. So to be able to get one and get a guy that has been elite during this win streak, and even the KU game and Baylor game to an extent, Doug McDaniel was really good. So to get the Doug McDaniel that you were promised, this is more of like what we really anticipated in October leading up to the basketball season, because he is the catalyst. I mean, he has special speed. He has great ball handling. He has a good layup package around the rim. He does so many things that K-State just needed a guard to have, because even before the season started, you knew that you were going to need McDaniel to be as good as you anticipated, because there just aren't a lot of other guards that can create the way that he does on this roster.
We're speaking with Drew Galloway from K-State Online. I just want to get your opinion on, as we just continue to talk about the growth of this team, and now they've gone from, they can't be Wichita State, they can't be a Drake, which Drake is actually kind of red hot right now as well. That's still looking as not a bad loss, but Wichita State certainly is. LSU is a bad loss. You know, defensively, we had seen this team struggle mightily to try to defend somebody. Just try to stay in front of a ball handler was extremely tough for this team at one point. Just by looking at the defense, how much growth have you seen?
Oh, the defensive growth has been exponential. Like, I think it was Cole Manbeck posted that K-State was like in the 100s in defensive efficiency on Ken Pom and on Bart Torvik. And over the last 3 or 4 weeks, they're in the top 5 now. And I think that you're really seeing that simplifying things has really helped. And you're getting guys into passing lanes, and they're playing with confidence. I think that that's a big deal. It's something that Chris Kleiman always talks about, actually, is like when guys are really confident in the scheme, you see how much faster they play on the field. And I think that's true on the basketball court, too, because in this win streak, you're seeing guys play with a ton of confidence on the defensive end. Brendan Hausen has grown probably the most out of anybody on the defensive end, and he's really understanding passing lanes and driving lanes and when to come and help and when to stay on his man. And I think that because of that, you're really seeing the takeoff defensively. I mean, Arizona is one of the top offensive teams in the country, and K-State was able to shut them down for a lot of the game. I mean, the game was pretty disgusting offensive-wise, to be honest, but it was a really, really good defensive game, and I think that both teams get a lot of credit for how they played defensively.
Yeah, 41% from the field for Arizona last night, one of their worst shooting performances of the season. If I would have told you before the game, Drew, that K-State was going to shoot 1 of 19 from 3 last night, would you have given K-State a chance to win?
No, it even goes further than that. If you would have told me that K-State was going to go 1 of 19 from 3, they're going to get out-rebounded by 13, and David Gasson was only going to be able to play 23 minutes due to foul trouble and then fouling out, I probably would have said Arizona wins that game by 15 plus. The ability for K-State to find a way and grind out a win is really impressive and really special. And I think really kind of this is the best win of this win streak, I think, even more so than how they played in Ames, because they played like the perfect game in Ames. Where you really see teams grow is when they're playing kind of a clunky, kind of grinded out kind of game, and they find a way to win. And K-State really found a way to win. With about 10 minutes left, I looked over to Mason Voth and KSU_fan, and I said, whichever team ends up winning this game is going to be really, really excited that they found a way to win, because neither team played their best. And whoever ends up losing is just going to be kicking themselves because they didn't play their best, and they were right there. So for K-State to find a way to come out on top, I think is really special. And is really kind of the highlight of this 6-game winning streak to me.
Now, I don't know how far you've gone with this with Mason on the KSO show or with DY, but 4 weeks ago, the NCAA tournament was absolutely impossible. Today, it's still going to be a big fight to get there, but it's not impossible. As a matter of fact, Joe Lenardi now has K-State in his next 4 out, something like that. But I look at the rest of this regular season. You know, K-State just has one team left on the schedule. Of course, K-State will still have to play 4 of the 7 on the road. But there's only one team with a better Big 12 record than them right now. And K-State just looks like they're an unstoppable team and they could beat anybody, potentially. How are you feeling about the rest of this regular season? Like, should K-State, be favorites here on out the rest of the way with Iowa State still coming to town for Senior Day on March 8th? Do you feel that K-State can certainly at this point, if they continue to play the way they play, they're going to be going to the NCAA tournament?
I think that if they play the way that they've been playing, the NCAA tournament is definitely in the realm of possibilities. I don't think that they should be favorites from here on out. When we've talked on the KSO show, the 2 games that I've really highlighted is actually these upcoming 2 games in Utah with BYU and Utah on Saturday and Monday. If K-State finds a way to go 2-0, I think that it's pretty likely that they end up in the NCAA tournament, because I think that they need to go probably 5-2 in this last stretch to really get on the bubble. And I think that however you kind of slice it, 5-2 with the amount of wins that K-State has had and the quality wins that they've had are likely going to put them in. But these are the 2 games that really kind of scare me the most coming up, because when you're talking about going and essentially being perfect from January 25th on, you don't want to lose your margin of error on February 15th or February 17th. So you have to find a way to win one, but if they find a way to win both, I think that's really when you can say, okay, this is like a legitimate possibility of happening, which is crazy because, January 11th, when they lost by 30 to Houston, I was kind of on okay, they're kind of dead in the water. They just got crushed by Oklahoma State on the road, came back at home against Houston, and just got absolutely demolished. Where does the season go from there? And to see the turnaround has been immensely impressive, and I'm really excited to see where it goes from here. But these next 2 games, I think, are extremely, extremely pivotal.
Well, K-State fans, get ready to stay up for the next 2, to say the least. 8 o'clock for tip-off for both games, Saturday at BYU, Monday on ESPN2. That actually got moved up. It was originally 10 p.m., and now it's going to be 8 p.m. on ESPN2. All right, Drew. Really appreciate it. Good stuff. Love the stuff on KSO show as well. Appreciate you coming by. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
It's Drew Galloway from K-State Online. I don't disagree at all with anything you said. It's amazing now the odds of K-State's chances. It's still, not above 50%. They still got to win in quite a few games. But they have quickly rolled up a resume. They now have 4 quad 1 wins. And they've won 4 in a row. It's just you look back in the non-con, it's that gosh darn LSU game. They stink now. They're terrible. And Wichita State was never good, and K-State got embarrassed there. But here's the deal. I guarantee you the committee knows about what K-State's doing right now. The nation is taking – their attention has somewhat grabbed onto what K-State's doing. You can't ignore this if you're the committee. This has gotten around to the college basketball world. They've somehow – garnered enough discussion because they're red hot, and they were dead in the water 4 weeks ago. It's the SEC, and if you want to talk about hot teams, the Big 12 has a couple of the hottest, but now one stands above the other. That's K-State over Arizona.
When they were in the midst of their, I think it was, they lost 9 of 10 games during that 10-game stretch, and Coach Tang talked about going on a crazy run with Baylor. and saying that it's never too late to do that in a season. And at that moment, I'm like rolling my eyes, like whatever.
Sure, yeah.
Shout out to Coach Drew. That's all I have to say.
I was joking when KSO hit the 3-game streak and beat Iowa State. I'm like, okay, what did Coach Drew say? He threw some fairy dust in the air and just started making it rain with fairy dust in that locker room, and things changed. Now I really want to know what he said. I'm about to call up his coach's show this week, if he has one. I'm going to call up and say, what did you say to Jerome Tang? And I'm not joking about that. I've literally been thinking about that today. I'm like, if he has a coach's show, you can call in or write in a question.
We need to.
We need to find out what was said or what happened in that locker room, because since then, the game has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to do some research to find out when that Scott Drew radio show is and see if we can get on there. Meanwhile, we got to take a break. The voice of the Chiefs for the final time this football season, with the Super Bowl wrapping up the season on Sunday. One last conversation this year with the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, coming up next.
Your home for K-State sports.
Touchdown, Wildcats. Chris Harper and Colin Klein put that football in a shoebox.
This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Are you tired of being brushed off by your doctor? Have you seen specialist after specialist convinced something's wrong, only to hear your labs look fine? Here's an antidepressant. Are you ready to be heard? Ready to invest in your health and find the root cause of your issues? I'm Dr. Reagan Tilley, and I started Whole Health MHK because I was frustrated too. At Whole Health, you'll be listened to, and your input will always be valued. We will work together to get to the bottom of your health concerns. To set up your appointment today, call 785-775-1155 or visit wholehealthmhk.com.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Dollars spent locally today help build a better community for tomorrow.
D&I Plumbing, Heating, and Air will provide honest and quality service when you need it most. From a leaky faucet to replacing your water heater. Trust the experts at D&I Plumbing, Heating, and Air, your York and other makes and models local dealer. Call 537-7138 today.
Turn your memories into a masterpiece at Candlewood Frame Shop. Whether it's framing your favorite pictures floating around in the digital cloud or creating a shadow box with cherished things or memorable events. Candlewood Frame Shop. Let them turn your stories into a masterpiece.
For a once-in-a-lifetime experience, engagement ring shopping simply can't be duplicated on a computer screen. At Fifely Jewelers, you'll be pleasantly surprised by our pricing compared to buying online, and we offer financing. Plus, you'll have peace of mind by shopping locally with Fifely Jewelers.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Find more great local businesses plus special deals and offers when you keep it local on our website.
The secret to getting ahead is getting started. The words of Mark Twain. If you know what it's like to be behind and you're looking to get ahead for a change, it's Central Time. Open a new opportunity checking account with Central National Bank that makes finances easy. Account opening is subject to qualifications. Restrictions may apply.
Central National Bank, money for life.
Member FDIC. Money for getting started since 1884.
Information you can use in an ever-changing healthcare environment. America's Healthcare Advocate, Carrie Hall, Saturdays on News Radio KMAN.
We're here to educate, inform on the topic of healthcare and health insurance. We've partnered with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas to bring you these shows to educate you on healthcare and health insurance issues. That's why we're doing these shows here on America's Healthcare Advocate.
Join Carrie Hall, America's Healthcare Advocate, Saturday mornings at 7 on News Radio KMAN.
Do you think you've been discriminated against at work or when applying for a job? Call the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission anytime, any day at 800-669-4000. It's unlawful for an employer to harass you or treat you differently because of race, color, sex, national origin, age, religion, pregnancy, or disability. The law also protects you against retaliation for complaining about discrimination. Again, the number to call is 800-669-4000. Equality at work, your right, EEOC's job.
Your News Radio KMAN Manhattan area weather forecast. This afternoon, mostly cloudy with a high near 19. That snow should not be coming down anymore. Tonight, mostly cloudy, then gradually becoming clear with a low around -2 with wind chill values between -4 and -9. Tomorrow, calling for sunny skies and a high near 25 with wind chill values between -10 and 0. Thursday night, increasing clouds, a low around 12. Friday, mostly cloudy and a high near 43.
All right, we're hoping to speak with the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, here in just a moment. A reminder, we do have K-State women's basketball at the top of the hour. They are at Cincinnati. It's a must-win for K-State to stay in first place, a tie for first in the Big 12 standings. They beat Cincinnati to start the Big 12 slate. So tonight, though, it's pretty big. Baylor and TCU won their games last night. So K-State needs to win to stay in a tie with those two. K-State still has to play Baylor. What a fascinating time. Honestly, right now it is for K-State hoops because the men have won 6 in a row. The women are trying to grind this thing out. They were super sick with the flu, I've heard, for that Oklahoma State game, and they got smothered there. But hopefully they're good to go now, and they can get it done against Cincinnati tonight with tip-off at 5:30. All right, we are now joined by the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, for the final time this season. Mitch, man, what a rough one that was for Super Bowl 59. Did you have to do a couple of laps on Bourbon Street to walk that one off?
No, I avoided Bourbon Street after that game because, well, Eagles fans were there all week. And probably have Eagles fans listening in the complex, but I'm telling you, that fan base, they're in the same card game with the Bills and Bengals fans. And it's been nasty on me in social media. So, but that's okay. We got worked, and they were great in the game. Go back and review the video. You'll just see how they commandeered the thing from the beginning, starting with field position and then just a relentless defense that was very fast at all 3 levels. So hand it to them. They whipped us badly. Only 3 times in 12 years with Andy Reid have I seen anything like that. Super Bowl 55. They lost in 2016 in October against Pittsburgh. I know because I got the call. My mom was getting ready to pass away, and I had to zoom right back from there. I remember that game vividly, 43-7, I think. But that's it. In 12 years, only 3 times I've seen it. This one on the biggest stage. We give Philly credit, but we'll be back and swing away.
Yeah, it was, really across the board. I mean, you can't really find a whole lot of positives until you get to that fourth quarter and Kansas City gets a couple of late touchdowns. I guess when it comes to
Mitch, I'll just interject.
Go ahead.
The whole Barkley to 2.3 a carry on 25 carries at 57 yards. If I was on with you last Wednesday when we did our segment from New Orleans and I said that's going to be the case, you'd have probably thought the Chiefs win by double digits. So that was a positive, and that wasn't just, they were throwing the ball, they were way ahead, they didn't try to run it. No, he ran it 25 times. He was shut down by the Chiefs' run defense as good as anybody all year.
Yeah, I mean, just basically answer my next question because I was thinking, man, along with Barkley, is there anything else that stood out to you as, kind of big surprises when you did your prep and how you think this game would unfold that just there was another area of that game that just did not go the way you expected at all?
Well, Hurts was really good. Hurts was back to 2022 good. He didn't have a great year. People want to talk about Pat. Hurts was just okay. The other thing that was surprising based on my research is that he ran it less this year than he did back in 2022, and he had those 3 huge runs, especially in the second half, run scrambles. And those weren't designed tush pushes or Colin Klein quarterback draws or leads. Those were scrambles. And he hadn't done that great this year. They'd relied on Saquon Barkley. So when Barkley got shut down, he was able to revert back to his, Heisman self, basically, and be super impactful in running the ball. That would be that. His accuracy, he was very accurate in that game, and including the wheel route, or the out and up that he threw to Jahan Dotson that set up the first touchdown. Those are throws he would make this year, but not make with regularity, not like he did in 2022.
Mitch, you mentioned Super Bowl 55 as one of those 3 beatdowns. How quickly did maybe some PTSD from that game creep in? Because I know for me, watching at home, it was those 2 sacks before the pick 6 where I was like, okay, I don't know if I love how this game's going so far.
Well, to me, the crux was the picks. The key point was the pick 6 by Cooper DeJean. That was something Pat hadn't done. He hadn't thrown interceptions in almost 300 attempts, and it ended up being 7 points. The Chiefs had not done that really all year, where they had just handed points to a team. And then it happens again with the interception at the 14. But the pick 6 by DeJean was a huge cannonball right in the bow of the ship. But I did say on the air, we don't have our network, of course, so you got to listen online or try to get our flagship station. But the point is, I said when Brian Cook had the interception, the good news is Brian Cook has an interception. The bad news is it's at the 2. And with this Philadelphia defense, the sack, 3 and out, setting up that rough, that led to the field goal, short field goal, and then again the pick 6. But overall, I'm a little bit mystified that we didn't run the 3-back stuff. We got that 3-back flip bone thing. We didn't run a snap of it. And the other thing is, I've seen us neutralize outside 9 technique pass rushers. Josh Sweat was acting like he was running on the K-State 4x100-meter relay team. He was just crouched down, a 2-point stance at a 9 technique. It was super fast off the ball. Well, we play those guys all year. We play the Boses, right, with regularity. We play Khalil Mack. We play Max Crosby. So I'm surprised we didn't try to run inside his armpit. And we can do that with jet sweeps or fake jet sweeps just to freeze him enough. But that didn't happen. We kind of settled on a 3-5 step drop game, and that was just deadly because guys couldn't get open either. You got to credit Philly's defense, but some of the countermeasures we normally use as depth charges against those submarines, we just left on the ship and we went down with them.
And then one more question I want to ask, and I don't want to get you in trouble, so I'll ask it. I'll try to ask it a little bit better. Were you surprised with maybe, at least to the naked eye, a lack of adjustments that weren't made, especially on the offensive side of the ball?
Well, there actually were some made in the second half that, maybe to the naked eye, didn't look like them, but they were. And those were adjustments to max protect, which goes back to my statement before this one. And you can do several different things. You try to run at pass rushers. Now, those guys are good in the middle, but you still run at them. And 3 yards is a big deal. Or you run right at the pass rushers. Or you max protect and shift the pocket, which is what the Chiefs did in the second half. The first touchdown to Xavier Worthy is a max protect, shift the pocket. And Worthy was a 2.5-man route, basically, and he came back to the ball and made a great play. Same thing on the 50-yard touchdown. Those are max protect plays. So, hindsight being what it is, you'd think, well, maybe if you get the ball at your own 2, that's the approach you take. And even try to run the ball 3 times and try to pick up 3-4-3 and get a first down. And then match protect and move the ball because you're only down 7-0 at that point. But if you're, I've seen Coach before. The biggest takeaway to give people hope from the Chiefs' kingdom is that I've seen Coach in this time and time again. Stuff you know about that's obvious and stuff you don't know about that's not obvious. He is the best. Coach Snyder would be this way too. But Coach Reed is the best at handling flashpoints and dealing with them and fixing them that I've ever seen. And that's why you win consistently in this league and win for 12 straight years. So I know this offseason will be rough. And we got a tough offseason ahead with trying to keep guys and not able to keep guys and people coming with boatloads of money to steal guys. And that's just the way it works. But Coach has a way of figuring it out. And Pat's still going to be here. Maybe Kels, maybe not. But Coach is going to figure out a way to try to get us right back in the hunt. And so that's my hope, and I know that's the case because I've seen him do it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, maybe the top storyline now heading into the now in the offseason is Travis Kelce, because I think there was a report yesterday or today that came out that he's going to take his time and think about it. Right now it is up in the air if he comes back for next year. With that being said, though, have you still not met Taylor Swift?
No, and I think I'm going to miss my window. Yeah, I don't know, unless I try to go backstage at some concert and get arrested. But my granddaughter will be with me. We'll both get arrested. I think that will go looking for a record as a 5th grader. So she's got her life ahead of her. So, yeah, I might try it. But, nope, I missed my window, I think. So if Kels does go, I had this discussion yesterday on a couple of other shows. If he does go, then, I mean, he's played 11,000 snaps with 3 Super Bowl titles, and he's the leading pass catcher ever in Super Bowls. Ever. Not Jerry Rice, not Gronk, not Edelman, not all these other guys that played multiple, Lynn Swann. It's Travis Kelce. He's played hard snaps. So if he thinks it's the best interest to go. We'll have to figure it out, and it won't be easy, but we'll do it. If he comes back, he'll be our hardest worker. There's part of me that thinks he doesn't want to go out this way. But then I also had several embraces with him in New Orleans. And if you can find the interview I did with him on the network on Chiefs Kingdom, you guys might have it archived, or maybe Dan Israel can send it to you. The 20 minutes I had with him in November was awesome. And he was so introspective, and it was so sincere that, he has been a bit melancholy. And so I think he's just trying to figure it out. But I think it's going to be physically. Can he do this physically? Because, guys, we've had the shortest off season for the last 2 years. We're going to have another one. And the fact that the schedule that we've played and all these games that we played over an extra season in just these last 6 years. It's really 7 and 6. And he's played all of those, and all but a few. And so if he says that's it, there's nothing I can do but buy the dude flowers and say, just one time, can I meet Taylor for my granddaughter?
Well, with that, Mitch, I really appreciate your time, and thank you for another season of coverage of Kansas City football and coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Well, you guys are great, and I appreciate Hy-Vee, and I appreciate K-State Federal Credit Union, and the folks that make it possible. I love being on with you guys. It's like going home. So excited about K-State right now. I'm also excited about K-State football for 25. So We'll press on. We'll be back. We'll keep fighting.
Thanks, Mitch. Looking forward to it next year. Really appreciate it.
See you, fellas. Ema.
Voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. And with that, K-State women's basketball is coming up next for Cole Deutschendorf. Mitch Holthus, Drew Galloway. I'm Mitch Fortner. Go Cats.
Loaded tortilla soup is back at Qdoba. Savory veggie broth packed with flavor from tomatoes, peppers, onions, and spices. Enjoy loaded tortilla soup in a bowl or crunchy tortilla shell with your favorite protein and craveable toppings. That's right, the soup sensation fans have been raving about has